Hello again, beautiful artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Skye. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Skye and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. All right, so this week the weather is warming up, so I thought why not cool off with a refreshing popsicle painting for this week. So I'm going to be using my three most common standard brushes here that I use in most classes. So I have my square 1-inch wash brush, I have a medium-sized pointed brush, and then I have just a sort of small detail brush, not the smallest, but we don't need to get too detailed today. Gonna get those brushes in the water cup off the side of the screen. I'm just gonna be starting with my background colors today. So I'm just gonna have red and white, and this can be any color background that you like. This painting is totally customizable. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. Oh, and if you need a full materials list, go ahead and check the description box below, and you'll see everything that I recommend that you'll need to paint along. All right, let's jump in. So this background step is pretty much as easy as it gets. We're going to use our big brush for this. And I'm just going to mix up a beautiful light pink color. Probably about equal parts of red and white. But it's okay if it's a little darker or a little bit more pastel, whatever you prefer. And I'm going to come into the middle of my canvas here and just start crazily moving my brush all around here, lots of texture, and work my way out from the center to the outside edge. And sometimes I want a little bit of variation. So once I get enough on the canvas here, I'll show you guys, but just taking this main background color into that canvas texture and then grabbing a little bit of white here and there, just like so. And we are going to cover our entire canvas just with this gorgeous textured background. Just a little bit more interesting than one solid color. All right, and always a little bit of water helps that paint to go nice and smooth. You want it to soak into the canvas texture, okay? I am using a canvas board today. You'll see me sometimes use boxed canvases, and those are fantastic as well. I just love to save space since I have so many paintings and just a home studio. All right. Almost finished here just with our background step, just getting that whole canvas filled in. You don't want to see any white canvas texture. And really this is totally customizable too, so it can even be a multicolor background if you like. But for me, today I'm just gonna stick with this one solid sort of pop art pink. A little bit more white here and there to kind of mix things up, get a little bit of texture going on. And then once you feel like it's about right, we'll go ahead and step away and let this layer dry. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. All right, let's go ahead and take a short break, and I'll see everyone in a few. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a completely dry background and a whole bunch of new colors on my new piece of palette paper. So I have a fair amount of white, a little bit of a warm brown, like a burnt sienna type brown, some bright yellow, a little bit of my phthalo green, my favorite, a little bit of orange, some red, and a fair amount of black. I'm going to grab my smallest brush now. I rinsed my brushes and got fresh water at break as well. And what I'm going to do now first is come in here with some white, and I'm going to sort of sketch out, block out these adorable popsicle little shapes here. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the center first. for this middle one. And I'm just going to do straight down lines on either side here, curved top and a flat-ish bottom, just like so. And while we're working with our white right now, we can sort of adjust the shape as need be. And the goal here is to get all three shapes about the same size. Okay, so we're gonna imagine that we made these popsicles in these popsicle molds, right? And they all look the same. So we wanna try to have cookie cutter like shapes here. Bing, bang, boom. 3 shapes in a row. Okay. Adjusting, always starting a little bit smaller than I think I might need to be. And that way I can just kind of eyeball things and adjust as needed. Okay, looking pretty good. They kind of look like doorways. Doorways to sugary treats. All right, just bringing this shape into this side. Trying my best to make all 3 shapes as similar as I can. Okay, a little bit of a curved bottom. Oop, that was a little bit lower than my other one, so I'll adjust those. Perfect. Yeah, it looks just about right. It doesn't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. And then we're going to have the little popsicle sticks coming out bottom here, just like so, with a curve. That one was a little bit thicker than I wanted it. So I'm gonna, again, sort of adjust these popsicle sticks to all look as similar as we can as well. Okay, so all 3 shapes somewhat similar. And then we're going to start filling this in with white so that we get a nice solid color when we come back in with the color. So we're just going to be blocking out all of these shapes with white, trying our best to match them up. And let's go ahead and use our medium-sized brush for that. So I'm going to go ahead and just come in first and do the popsicle sticks from the bottom, and then I'll come back in just a minute. And we'll upgrade our brush size slightly. Pretty close. It's not ever perfect. Gotta let that go. Okay. Grabbing my medium-sized brush there, just to get that all filled in with white a little bit quicker. And I'm sort of correcting that shape, finessing it, if you will, as I fill in. Looking good. Okay, so that first one is all blocked out and looking good. We have to paint each shape twice. But despite that, this is a pretty simple one this week. Let me know in the comments or in the club what sort of summer concepts you're looking forward to painting this summer. I always love to hear your requests for paintings. I always kind of struggle in the summer because I love the winter. So I'm like, oh, you know, palm trees, pools, okay, what else? I came up with popsicles this week. We got flip-flops. I feel like I will never be at a loss for wintry painting ideas. Bob Ross and I have that in common. Love those cold winter scenes. All right, just getting that all filled in. And then I'll probably switch back to my smaller brush here in just a minute for our colors. Okay, looking pretty good. I'm going to grab my smaller brush again, just to use to mix those colors up. And this is again totally customizable, so whatever colors that you would like to do. I'm gonna go ahead and start with red. And I'm going to go again from left to right. And this should be nice and bold, but also if it blends a little bit to pink, that's totally fine. We're just kind of creating some depth. And we're just going to fill that in with solid red. We don't need to mix it with white for a little bit of a pastel look, because we got that white on underneath. And that just gives us a much more vibrant red color to have the white behind. It ups our opacity. Covering that whole shape. You can do this with your slightly larger brush as well if you prefer, but I really like this brush. Okay, looks good. Keeping all the brush strokes going up and down. Okay, and moving right along, I'm gonna do an orange one. I'm gonna mix a little bit of yellow in there. Gotta have our orange sherbet. Maybe that's a orange creamsicle, what we have here in the States. Those are really delicious. Not had an orange creamsicle, and I can't remember when, but we can imagine that we're enjoying them today. All right, pulling a little bit of white, of course, in with that too, since that white's not fully dry yet, and that is okay, kind of going with it. I want that like pastel look a little bit. Very fun colors. Okay, getting that all filled in with that base color there, that orange. Looking good. I may want that orange just a little bit more pastel in some areas. Okay. Looks good. And then our final base color here for our last popsicle, I thought we could do like a lime popsicle. So I'm going to use my phthalo green with a little bit of yellow. I don't know about you, but this painting is making me hungry. Bit more white there. A little bit more of a pastel feel. Okay, that looks pretty good. Very cute summer colors today. Okay, and then just curved bottoms there, but flat along the bottom. Curved top. Trying our best to keep them all the same. Keeping those brush strokes consistent. Covering covering up that background fully. All right, nice clean line on the outside edge here. Okay, looking good. Okay, now we're going to rinse that brush and we're going to mix up a beige. So I'm going to use my warm brown here, a little bit more of that yellow and some more white. We're going to come up with the beige for our popsicle sticks. I think probably a little bit more white. There we go. And same idea here. It's almost the same shape really, just reversed and small. Gonna go right on top of our white blocking. Very cute. Let me know what flavors your popsicles are gonna be. I had to think long and hard about my flavors. So I wanted the colors to go, but I wanted them to be delicious looking flavors as well. Okay, that looks really good. Moving right along. Let's go ahead and just rinse our brush real quick. And then I'm going to grab some of my dark brown and I'm going to bring that into those same popsicle stick bottoms here. I'm going to do a quick outline and a few brush strokes kind of throughout. It's a little bit too heavy-handed. Just to create that wooden texture. And if you do go too heavy-handed, you can always grab a little bit of a lighter color again. And bring some of the background back to the foreground. Okay, kind of tone things down a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing here to the other two popsicle sticks. Coming along the bottom edge, and then just a couple thin lines. And if you do sort of some curved lines, even if it's just creating some texture there in your paint, and then brush strokes, that's good too, because it's all about highlights and shadows, whether they be from paint or even from building up the texture. That's why brush stroke direction is so important. Okay, looking good. I think a little bit of a highlight in there would be nice too, since we went that dark route. Always like to balance things up. Very light beige there, just a few little highlights. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our darkest brown, which is going to be a little bit of black, into our warm burnt sienna. Clean brush once again. And I'm going to shadow the bottom part of where the popsicle meets the stick. And then I'm going to do a triangular shadow. Just like so, right underneath, as if our light source was coming from up over here. And casting a shadow from the popsicle down onto the popsicle sticks. That's actually a very important step. And I like to take that dark brown and do a very outside edge there for the stick too. I think that looks nice and clean and refined. Okay, and little triangle. And a quick outline. Okay, looking good. I'm going to go back up into my popsicles now. And I'm going to start with, again, my red popsicle. I'm going to do a little bit of shadowing now. So I'm gonna make a dark red with just a little bit of black and red together. And I'm going to push my brush down with one swoop, one brush stroke here. And the idea is to have two curved lines, or two lines that are straight right next to each other with a slightly curved top. Two lines with curved tops and straight there at the bottom. So it sort of mimics the shape of a popsicle. Okay. Always starting a little bit thinner than I think I'm gonna go. Okay, looking pretty good. With that same dark red, I'll also outline that popsicle. And that'll be our final chance to refine that shape. So just trying to create a nice clean line on the outside edge there. Okay, super cute. Very easy. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit of white, sneak a little bit of red in to create a pink. I'm going to go in with that pink a couple places and add a little bit of sort of a secondary color and texture. And then do the same thing with white. So we're leaving those shadowed areas alone, but we're creating a little bit of shine on our popsicle where the light would hit it, just like so. Okay, and I think I might darken the shadows on the inside just a little bit too. So that's just a slightly darker red. Just want to refine that a little bit. Okay, nice. Okay, moving right along to our orange one now. Going to grab a little bit of orange, and the orange mixed with black is going to get a little bit muddy, so really just like a tiny little pinch of black, and then maybe a little bit of red as well. Just to keep things warm and to cancel out any kind of greenish hue that we get there from the yellow mixing with black that's in the orange. If you'd like to learn more about color theory, I do have a whole course on that, if that made any sense at all. But when you mix the orange and black, the bluish pigment in the black mixes with the yellowish pigment in the orange and can create green. And since we don't want green on our orange popsicle, we added the red, which is across the color wheel there from green, to cancel it out. Which sounds very technical, but is actually pretty simple. And I tried to break it down as clearly as possible in my Color Theory 101 class. But today, we're just gonna add a little bit of black and a little bit of red. We're not gonna worry too much. I very much believe in the idea of learn by doing, so color theory is great to learn and know, but you'll sort of learn it naturally by just painting all the time and practicing as well. Okay, flat bottoms there, curved tops, just like the shape itself. Tiny bit more black in there, a little bit more red. Just needed a tiny bit more of that color so that I can do it my outside edge for my orange. Just like so, all around for my delicious orange cream popsicle. Very nostalgic, very summery. trying my best to get a nice clean line there. Okay. And I'm gonna grab a little bit more black for a slightly darker version. Looks like I have enough red in there to where I'm getting a pretty nice burnt orange, dark brownish color. I'm just going to do some dark shadows here on the left side of those first shadow lines that we created, deepening the shadow here on this side, like so. Okay. Perfect, moving right along, and then a little bit of white. Rinsed my brush there. We're gonna get a gorgeous orange sherbet color for a highlight. Take that color, just a few swipes in those orange spaces. A little bit more white. Okay, looks good for that first highlight. Rinsed my brush for a final couple shine marks with white. I'm gonna do those shine marks maybe slightly different than my red one, but pretty similar. Okay, look at that, only one left. So cute. Going to grab some of my dark green now. Super simple. I rinsed my brush once again. And I'm gonna pull a little bit of black over for a nice dark green. And I'm going to repeat those same steps once again for our final popsicle. Just creating those base shapes and then adding highlights and shadows like we do every week. Once you practice, 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 it starts to get pretty simple to see all the steps before you even begin. Okay, curved tops, flat bottoms. Parallel side by side, trying our best to match all three. Okay, looks good. Same color, same brush, going to outline my lime popsicle as well. Final chance to refine that shape. Create a nice clean line coming into the pink background. Looks good. A little bit of bleeding there because of a little bit too much water in my paint. It's all about having that perfect ratio, but easy to tidy up. Okay. Rinsing my brush and to come in with some highlights now. Really simple, just going to make a very, very light version of that phthalo. And same idea as my other ones. You want to have some lines straight, some lines curved. Just like so. And then I think I'll go ahead and darken that one side here of the shadow on the inside. Just to deepen that a little bit. Okay, and then just rinsing my brush and just for those final last few little white shine marks. And we will be finished. If you painted along today, I have a Facebook group called the Art Club that's specifically designed for my students to share their work, whether it be from painting along with me or from your home studios and imaginations. We would love to have you join over there. link below to join. Very nice. But that is all the instruction that I have for everyone this week. So let me know what you thought of today's painting in the comment section below. Love to hear from you. Love to see you over in the art club. And until next time, stay creative.